Today we will be talking about how our sound frequency can help in the process of healing. You see, if you pay attention to how the voice manifests, just say the word Hay, 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 and see which part of your body is the source of this voice. Some of you may say that it's coming from the lower part of the abdomen. Some people can say it's coming from the diaphragm, the upper part of the stomach. Some people can say it's coming from the heart area. Others can say it's coming from my throat. No matter what your experience is at this moment, the voice resides in all of us, especially when we are grounded, when we feel that there is no obstacle in putting our 2 feet on the on the earth, and that we are in a good balance. Because we are 2-legged animals. In 4, it is much more secured. But 2 legs are more difficult than the animals. Because we are not as grounded as we were once when we were walking on 4, like our closest relatives, chimps and monkeys and so on. So when you are grounded, the source of the voice then is what we call the 5th micro chakra of the 1st. And there are some people who speak from there. Their voice is very deep, very resonant, and it comes from there. From there it can rise, depending on the situation. For example, when you talk to your mate, somebody you are very close to, your voice will then rise from the fifth of the first and come to the fifth of the second. And after you talk, it will go back to the fifth of the first, because that is the resting place. We call that 1-5-5-1 connection. The delivery is always from the fifth chakra part of the body, which is your vocal cords. But where is the energy coming from when you are making a sound, when you are speaking? When you are in a position of authority, your voice then comes from the fifth micro chakra of the third. When you are in a state of unconditional love and you are talking to your deity or somebody you unconditionally love, then your voice is coming from the fifth micro chakra of the fourth. Like singers do. They have a great deal of love to express through singing. Therefore, fifth micro chakra of the fourth is where that sound is coming from. And then there are Nada yogis who work on the fifth micro chakra of the fifth, and they want to hear their fundamental note. They want to hear that frequency. Then the voice is coming from the fifth of the fifth. The next stage is the meditators. When they hear the sound of the silence, fifth micro chakra of the sixth, some people are able to hear the sound of the universe, through which great creative ideas come, great insights, and they wake up and they say, "Oh my God, I got this idea." They hear it in the sleep. Now, these are the situations in which the voice is coming, depending on the external circumstances. Let's ignore the external circumstances and just see totally as a factual phenomena. Then you realize that there is a time of the day where naturally energy is centered in different parts of the body. For example, around Europe and America, approximately 90 minutes before the sunrise, energy is centered in the first chakra. That is why it is said, healthier people, they have a bowel movement when the energy is centered in the first chakra. During that 90-minute period, a bowel movement will cleanse all your toxins. Apana available, apana prana, see, when we say bowel movement, no movement. Even a flame cannot stay flame when there is no air. You can extinguish a candle by depriving it of air. So movement depends on air. And that air in the first chakra hours of the day is called apana. A-P-A-N-A. And the job of apana is to allow the waste material to come out of our body so that the body is detoxified. That is a natural time when energy is naturally centered in the first chakra part of the body, which is your colon. Then energy moves on to the second chakra. And these days, it's about 2 hours each. Energy lasts in a particular chakra part of the body for approximately 2 hours. So if the sun is rising, let's say at 6 o'clock, that is 24 minutes before the sunrise, energy has already started to move to the second chakra. So if the sun is rising at 6, which means that, let's say half an hour, 5:30, the energy is starting to move to the second chakra, 5:40 to be exact. 36. That is assuming that the sun is rising exactly at 6 o'clock. And then energy is in the second chakra. And convert some of the sexual energy that is not used for the higher chakra minds. And then, of course, 2 hours from that time, the energy will move to the third chakra. That is the time usually people like to eat, because your digestive fluids are easily available and most people have breakfast. 2 hours later, the energy is centered in the heart chakra. That's when you can work collectively. You can share. 2 hours later, the energy is centered in the fifth chakra. When the energy is centered in the fifth chakra, there is no effort to speak, because it's naturally available there. And then, of course, 2 hours later is in the sixth chakra, 2 hours later in the seventh chakra. Then suddenly it drops from the seventh to the first. And that's when people have a second bowel movement. This is assuming you are grounded and you are in touch with life. Not the ideas about life, but life itself. It's like seeing a flower without thinking, without the thought of the flower. In other words, between the energy, the life energy of a flower and the life energy of you are becoming one. And when you become one, there is a joyous feeling, ecstatic feeling. But if you bring in the word, the memory, the comparison, you are robbing yourself of life, ability to relate to the life rather than to the labels. You see, life is perceived through forms. Nature gives us the form. The tree is a form, the flower is a form, body is a form. But human beings, we have an added facility to name it. And therefore we give a name to the function of the left brain. Rational, cataloging, so that you can memorize on memory. The ones who can remember most, you just type up what you... But the labels are for convenience. They are there. So we can say, I saw a parrot in comparison to it. Relating to the form is when you relate to the life, you can hear the life. Gradually you begin to hear your own frequency. Especially if you have a teacher who is thematic way. So that you can bring all your five senses together in one. And a daily practice of that. And this is what is to how to relate to life without labels. Because of the environment and what we know, it intervenes in the flow of, and especially the purifications that central channel is in the middle of this. But over the years of having done the purification, I have found ways to reach the central channel. And I have not done too many purifications for the central channel in our schedule.